On Saturday, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk revealed the 60 satellites his company will be launching. SpaceX's Starlink initiative, a planned mega constellation of nearly 12,000 spacecrafts that will sit in a low orbit above Earth and beam internet connectivity to the surface below. SpaceX hopes to deploy in the years ahead to provide global internet coverage from space. While satellite internet has been around for ages, it has generally suffered from high latency, unreliable connections, and spotty service areas. With Starlink, SpaceX intends to provide high-speed cable-like internet to every corner of the planet. So you could have blazing fast internet available all the time, no matter where you are, in the middle of a crowd in a city or deep in the Amazonian jungle. Slated for as soon as 2024, this theoretical blanket of broadband isn't that far off, which is super exciting and a cool thought, kind of going back to what Ed was talking about earlier, how some people just don't have internet and they really only have one choice of provider, which is totally true and totally sucks because I've been in that scenario and you could
I
have the
think we've all
shittiest
been in
internet.
that scenario at least once.
Yeah, I'm sure many people, because it happens to many people, and it's just totally unfair. It's a monopoly business, and they don't give a shit. They're just like, oh, well, whatever, we'll charge you. It is what it is. You can't do anything about it
It
because there's
it
no one else.
it goes back to me saying kind of like what Google Fiber did. It gave them a kick in the pants to upgrade their infrastructure. Then they're like, we did our job, we're out. Because now everybody has a giganet internet option, basically. Granted, it still doesn't reach to major rural areas and stuff like that, but they were able to upgrade quite a bit.
Where I live, there's a 100 down, 10 up option, which is what I have, and then there's I think it's 300 down, and then it's also 10 up, right? So,
Upload
no,
speeds, I've noticed, kind of suck across the board.
yeah, it's called symmetrical internet speed when it's equal. If you had like a 300 down, 300 up internet speed, that would be called symmetrical. But usually it seems like your up speed, they limit it to like 1/10
Because
of what
I
your down speed
believe we
is.
have, and I can actually run a check. I know we have like 400 download speed for our internet where I'm living right now, but I believe our upload speeds is maybe like somewhere between 20 and 50. I'm actually running a speed test right now.
And you know what? I think to go from 100 down to 300 or 400 down, I think it would be like an extra $20, and it's something that I don't really need necessarily. So that's something I can just skimp on. Like I'm fine with, dude. I want to say it was probably back in 2013 when they did this massive update to the infrastructure over here where I live. I went from like 20 down to 100 down, and the upload speed went up by a factor of 5 too, fivefold too, and it was like they didn't charge extra too. It was just like that's just what the new base price is.
Huh.
You're welcome. That's kind of what they said to us, and it was just like that.
Yeah,
That
I'm aware that that happened to a lot of people actually, because again, they upgraded the infrastructure, so they had to restructure their pricing program and everything like that. So, like the people who were on the lower tier got quite a significant bump in speed as a result.
I would have to be doing some serious torrenting on a VPN for me to want like 300, 400 down to pay extra for it. 100 down is just fine for where I'm at. And I hope that they up the different tiers at some point. Basically, wherever you live, they should be changing the tiers of what is considered like a standard connection, like every 4 or 5 years at least. I mean, that's what it should be like, especially in more populated pockets of the United States, but not everywhere. It doesn't happen like that everywhere, especially places where there's like only one one monopoly ISP. You know, you're so screwed there.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
thought of something about the Starlink system and stuff like that. This might actually prove as a challenge not only to internet providers, but also when you really think about it, this could also prove as a challenge to like cell phone providers, cell network providers. Because if you have a global internet service, why
That's
not just
true.
link
You
your
can
phone
connect
to it?
anywhere.
Because I mean, most phones nowadays have a Wi-Fi calling option anyway. So I mean, if you have this global internet service, why not link your phone up to it as well? And then you have data, phone service, texting all through this global internet service. So I'm curious if he's thinking about that, or if that's just like a happy accident.
Well, I mean, probably both. Like, I'm sure he's aware of like the effects. So I think he's aware, but maybe that wasn't like the original intent, and he's just like, oh, we'll just tack it on. Because I mean, internet's kind of just everywhere now. Like, it's with everything.
Before we go, there's one more thing I want to mention, and that is we got sad news from the land down under, in that one of their national symbols, the koala, is going extinct.
No.
And I believe the way they said it is that, yeah, koalas are now functionally extinct because there's not enough of them to sustain another full generation as it stands. And out of their 128 known habitats that are in federal environments, only 41 of those have koalas now.
That's so sad.
And people are trying to get the Koala Protection Act passed. Like whoever wins the election this year, they're trying to get them to adopt the Koala Protection Act, which was written and ready to sign and has been ready to sign since 2016.
What the hell? How can protect the koalas?
But
People care about pandas and they care about koalas too.
But yeah, so
koalas too.
So the Koala Protection Act is based off the U.S.'s Bald Eagle Act, which was successful in rescuing America's national symbol from the threatened species list. And so the hope is to see equal success from this for koalas in Australia.
Didn't I hear something about windmills killing bald eagles? Anyone ever hear anything about that?
And President Trump also said windmills cause cancer.
Yes.
Sorry, but not sorry.
I just had to say that. I don't know
Also,
anything about windmills killing eagles.
They're not windmills too. They're turbines. But, I mean, actually, I think I've been calling them windmills for a long time too, but it's like if it's not an actual mill, if it's not if the propeller isn't connected to an actual mill,
Wind turbine, semantics. It's the same thing. Everybody knows what you mean when you say it.
Okay, get this. Okay, wind turbines. I saw something. Okay, they kill like over 200,000 birds a year in the United States. Cell phone towers kill like 6 million birds.
So in other words, the statistics are far in favor of the wind turbines over cell towers. Got it.
I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, is anybody going to give up their damn cell phone network?
Well, I mean, hey, Starlink might be able to provide a solution for that.
Bring that back to that. Spontaneous. That was not planned.
No, but that was a good transition back. Good transition back though, so bravo for that.
And then cats kill like, I don't even understand how can there be like billions of birds I saw some stat. It sounded like 10% of the bird population in the United States get killed by like cats a year or something. I don't know. There's like what kills the most birds in the United States. Apparently, it's cats. Cats kill the most birds out of anything.
Fucking cats.
I'm not going to go into it, but there was a controversial story from a couple of weeks ago about basically Australia. Again, talking about Australia. Australia has a feral cat problem. They're an invasive species that has been there since basically we came to Australia and originally brought cats to Australia. They had no. Interestingly enough, considering the amount of animals in Australia, they had no natural predators there, which means their population exploded, and now they have a serious feral cat problem. They're actually causing some species in Australia to go extinct, to the point where they're basically offering bounties for people who kill these cats.
How are there no predators in Australia for a cat?
Yeah.
I feel like everything in fucking Australia wants to kill you.
What about the dingoes?
Like, they got fucking spiders the size of your cat.
Dingoes are technically an invasive species too.
Jeez.
Dingoes aren't natural to Australia either. They were also brought over by us when we first went over there, same as the cats.
Okay, something that might be a little misleading when I was talking about like how many, billions of birds are killed by cats. I think a lot of these birds, they were at the end of their rope anyway. They were probably old and sick and couldn't fly, so they're just like bouncing on the ground, just like I don't
know. Have you ever seen a cat hunt? I have. They'll be opportunists, like you said, but they can also be very proactive.